All right, here we have it. We have the S1 II paired against the ZV-E1. Now I'm running this at 4.5, and I'm running it around 1000 ISO. Now, I don't have a 35-1.8 for my Lumix. So I got my 35 on my kit lens and the 35 on the prime lens on the Sony, and I just put them both at 4.5, 1250 ISO on the Lumix, 1000 ISO on the Sony. That lens lets in a little more light, probably because it's prime and it's wider, bigger. So, but anyway, here we are comparing the two, and to see what you think. These are both 35mm equivalents. Just a slightly different angle here. What do you think of this, guys? Does it even matter which camera you use? Not really. So obviously, there's not a whole lot of difference between the two. And that's the thing, like for YouTube studios, you don't need expensive cameras. Just telling you right now, you don't need $3,000 cameras, guys. You just don't. These will do just fine, or the Sony ZV-E1, if you're just doing this, will do just fine. Like that's all you need is 24 frames a second. I got these at 30 frames per second right now, but I just wanted to kind of do a test and run the two, put them head to head for you today, and you can let me know what you think about that. But I'm gonna kick these off of their current modes now and put them both on standard mode, and we'll compare just general standard out of the box. But this is my favorite Sony ZV-E or Sony ZV-1 mode is the Cinetone, and my favorite is the 709 here on Lumix. I don't like shooting log on Sony. I just don't. It's just so much easier. The Lumix one's nice, the LUTs, the real-time LUTs and stuff. But anyway, I'm gonna put them both on standard. All right, guys, we have the ZV-E1 versus the Lumix S1 II. Now we have both of these in standard mode right now. Now one thing that I find very interesting on the standard mode is the ZV-1 is a little more warm. I just put it on auto white balance because I had it on 5600 and it was really warm, which was weird because I had the Lumix on 5600 and it was not. This is what it looks like. So this is 5600, and let me show you what auto white balance looks like on the Lumix with 5600. Okay, so this is interesting. 5600K on the ZV-E1 is this. This is what it looks like. But now when you go to the 5600 on the S1 II, you see how it's less orange, which is really weird, okay? So now, the auto white balances are totally different on these cameras. I mean, the white balances, when you set it, I mean, in the same lighting, nothing changed. It's just the way these cameras are rendering the white balance through whatever light's coming in the camera. Anyway, so this is 5600, so white balance does make a difference. Now I'm gonna go to auto white balance and check this out. Now you can see that drastically changed the ZV-E1, and it made the Lumix change as much, but it was nearly not as warm as the ZV-E1 is. So it's just the way they render the color, the white balance color. I just found that very interesting. But what we're looking at here, guys, is both a 35mm equivalent. They're both at 4.5. Because I didn't have 1.8 through 35 yet on the Lumix. So I had to use the kit lens for the Lumix at 35 and then the 35 1.8 prime on the ZV-E1. So straight out of box on standard mode, how does that look? And we're gonna look at my favorite one because that's what I like to use as Cinetone next on the ZV-E1. And we're going to look at my favorite, which is 709, or you can use the like 709. On the Lumix. That's just, I'm gonna do that because that's what I like using. I know a lot of people do like the Cinetone, some people don't, whatever. But here's standard, basically straight out of box with auto white balances on both. And this is what this looks like. Now, from what I see, I'll leave the commentary after this video, after I look through it on the big screen. However, it looks like the E1 is better a little bit. Looks the quality of the image as far as color is a little better, but it might be a little too much orange. And the Lumix is a little too white balancy. As you can see, if I change this white balance over to 5600, it's more accurate. See, now that's way better. So that's more accurate as far as I see. It just seems like the white balance is more accurate when I put this at 5600, and then I put this on auto and it drops it down to like 4800 or something. You see what I'm saying? It's just a weird tweak. It's just a weirdness of their white balances, how they operate. So not every camera is the same as far as their white balance, and it makes a big difference in the color. But anyway, I digress. 5600 is a little yellowy, but how does that look at 5600K? Or do we like the auto white balance better? Let me know. And again, if I put the ZV-E1 in white balance of 5600, it's way too yellow, which is what my light is at 5600. It's just the way it is. But anyway, this is what these look like. We're gonna go ahead and look at S1 and 709 next. All right, guys, now we're on the S1 on my ZV-E1. And again, I love that. And auto white balance looks way better than it does on here than if I put it at 5600K, which is really totally weird. Now, and then we also have the Lumix S1 II, and this is set at, the white balance is set at 5600K. And if I go to auto white balance, as you can see, it's a little too white, not warm enough, right? So there's 5600K, and I think that looks about right to me. But now watch this. If I put the ZV-E1 on 5600K, okay, 5600, now it's too warm for me. Like that just seems too warm. But when you auto white balance it, so let's see what I'd have to drop that down to look better. Yeah, about 4800 actually is around where the auto's putting me. So, but an auto white balance, it still looks okay, but it's way more white. And with the Lumix, we're at 5600K, and that looks about right. It just seems like the accuracy of the Lumix on the white balance is just better. Don't ask me why. So, don't ask me why. But I do also like the look coming out of the ZV-E1. And I also liked it coming out of the the S1 II. I'd want to be, I think. It's like 5200K. They're just a little different. But anyway. All right, guys. Which ones do you like better? Which one do you like better? Kind of straight out of camera, or like some of the favorite shooting modes? I just kind of wanted to compare these two and see what I thought about it. I mean, any camera's good enough. Any camera's good enough, guys. You don't even need an FX30. You can get a ZV-E10. Yeah, it's not going to be the latest or greatest, but the quality out of that, if that's all you're using it for, is this kind of stuff. ZV-E10 II, buy one used for $900 on eBay with a lens. I mean, it's enough. Now, if you want to go to professional stuff like that, that's a whole other story. But just want to kind of do a quick comparison between the two. I was kind of looking at it and see what I liked, see what you guys might like. Yeah, let me know in the comments below what you like. All right, guys. You can see here that, the Lumix, what I found, my findings were the Lumix is better if you set the white balance. But the Sony works better if you just auto white balance it. So for whatever reason, it's just the way the white balances work with the autos, with the cameras. But anyway, as you can see, the Lumix on the right and the Sony on the left, they both look amazing, guys. I mean, they both are great cameras, and I mean, even the E1 does everything I need to do, but you don't need to spend a ton of money for a camera. Like, APS-Cs are fine. I just already own a full frame, so why get an APS-C when I can just crop it and get an APS-C? So, but, you know, I guess I'm part of this too, because I like to, you know, try this camera and try that camera and try this camera. And it's like, they're all similar. I mean, I could color grade this and make them look basically almost identical. So it's not like, oh, I get this camera and it's so much better. I mean, some are better, and the log, the V-Log is nice. I just like that a little better for my taste, and it's easier with the Lumix as far as I'm concerned. But either way, it doesn't matter if you're used to one and the other or whatever. The Sony is the convenience of it. You know, the Sony's got the lenses and the convenience of the Sony and the microphone. You can get the Godox or the DJI mic too. I got coming where you just turn it on, turn it off, and the mic turns on the transmitter. And it just makes it so convenient. You can have it all sit on your desk. And so I'm keeping my E1. And I can use my S1 II for, you know, the hybrid stuff out and about too. And it just, I got more cameras than I need. It's just gas. But you can see, you know, once you get it set, whatever camera you have to get it set the way you want. But I think out of the box, the E1 is just, it's easier to use, to set up, and just, you know, the Sony cameras are just, the auto white balances are better. So for a new person, that's just my opinion, the auto white balance is just slightly better right off the bat. But once you set it, I kind of like the Lumix better. But anyway, I just wanted to get this video out to you guys. Just show you head-to-head comparison. And, you know, if I crop into these, let me crop into this really quick, and I'll show you the, you know, the 6K versus the 4K here. And as you can see, the Lumix on the right does have more detail. If you look at the beard, than the 6K open gate, you definitely get more like detail, and there's less noise here at 1000 ISO, by the way, too. But just saying, I just wanted to kind of compare that. So, but you're not really going to notice unless you crop way in. But if you do need to do some cropping, that's where the 6K does come in handy. As you can see, it is more crisp. But if you don't need to crop in, you know, if you're talking like just YouTube on people's phones and tablets, ain't gonna matter. But it is sharper nonetheless. So if you're doing weddings and shoots and you gotta get deeper, that's kind of handy. So, all right, guys, let me know what you think. Which camera do you like? And let me know, you know, hey, whatever you use, let me know what you use. I mean, it doesn't matter. They all work good. And if you're in a battle and mine's camera's better than yours, it's like, it all comes down to convenience, ease of use, what's good for you, what you like, what you're used to, and, you know, how much you want to learn a new system. But I think overall, for a new person, I think Sony's the easiest, and Canon too. And then maybe Lumix and Nikon. Nikon maybe first, and then Lumix. They're pretty close. But anyway, yeah, let me know what you're using, what your thoughts are on these. But I love both these cameras, so I'm keeping both. All right, have a nice day, guys. Thanks. Bye.